it's a Lipstick Gal. Thank you so much for watching today. I have been for the last month trying 15 different matte lipsticks in various situations, and I wanted to find out what the best matte bullet lipstick was from the drugstore. So we've got a variety of prices from extremely affordable to a little bit more than I was expecting from a drugstore lipstick. And with the exception of the one that I'm starting out with, everything else is a red. And I wanted to try and find something in the color spectrum. Sometimes nudes can be different opacities, and sometimes really dark vampy colors can be a little patchy. I wanted to find something kind of in the middle of the spectrum, and red does happen to be my favorite shade. So 14 of these are red, and there's one mauve shade in there. So the first lipstick I wanted to tell you about is this from Wet n Wild. This is their Mega Last Matte Lipstick. This is $2.99. I feel like it's an extremely affordable lipstick if you're looking for a matte lipstick, but it's my least favorite out of all 15 that I tried. And price usually has nothing to do with it. I want it to perform well. One of my biggest pet peeves is that you can't roll it all the way down. So you have to be really careful when you're putting it back on lest you gouge it. And I have done that and I don't like it. The other thing that I don't like is I'm wearing it right now with the lip balm underneath, because if I don't, I will not make it through swatching all of these lipsticks for you. It makes my lips feel really dry. It makes my lips not just go from being dry, feeling dry, but actually to being dry. And by the end of the day, they're literally peeling. Now, I'm 46 years old, but I don't feel like my lips are really dry because I keep them really well moisturized, but this sucks all the life out of it. I did wear this for about an hour and a half before it was like really uncomfortable. And by the 3-hour mark, I started noticing that I had color collecting in my lip lines in the lips. And then it started to peel and flake at about the 4-hour mark. I will tell you, this did not wear well under a mask. It kind of got a blurry lip line. Out of all the lipsticks, this is my least favorite, despite the fact that it's extremely affordable. The other thing I didn't like about this is that I'm home during quarantine, drinking cups of coffee, drinking from my water bottle, eating snacks, I know. But when this transferred to something else, like a coffee mug rim or to a fork, I found that it actually pulled color up right in the center area. And it didn't end up, like some lipsticks, it can transfer and there's still color there. This transferred and then it left a bald patch. And I don't like that. This is the LA Girl Matte Flat Velvet Lipstick. This is $2.99 and I have the shade Gossip. This is one of those lipsticks that as it wears down, it turns your lips kind of like that vibrant fuchsia pink. So you'll have a little bit of color left. What's interesting is the formula of this, as you put it on, you see how there's a little bit of shine? It stays kind of like that for a while. I don't find that it's really matte. It never really feels like it dries down. It doesn't build up like in one swipe. You need a couple of swipes to go over. And as you're applying and applying and applying, I feel like it gets kind of heavy on the lips. This is also one that transferred quite a bit to coffee cups, to silverware, to water bottles. If you're eating or snacking throughout the day, you're gonna end up with a bald patch here. This is one that when I wore a mask, it went everywhere. And I think it's because this never really feels like it ever gets to that point. Some lipsticks, you have initial transfer right off the bat and then it stops transferring. Not this one. This one transferred all day on everything. And it has kind of a slightly slippy feel to it. It did end up drying my lips a little bit, but it never got to the point where it was peeling. If you're looking for a $3 lipstick, I would definitely recommend this over this, but this one's gonna last you better underneath the mask. I don't like either of these. This is from L'Oreal. This is their Matte Lip Crayon. This is the shade Little Chili, and this is $11.99. I thought that for this price, it would be a fantastic, and it's also, I don't know, L'Oreal is one of the more high-end drugstore brands. Their prices are definitely up there, but this was the one that I would think it was disappointed in the most. This really dries my lips out, really dries my lips out. And every time I start, like I'll do my skincare in the morning, and that includes a layer of this on my lips, which is a Laneige lip sleeping mask, and then I wipe it off before I put on my lipstick. So my lips are really hydrated, and I can already feel that they're starting to feel tight. I think the thing that I was disappointed the most with this was the fact that I paid more for it and it wore so uncomfortably. By the end of the day, after 6 hours, I already had peeling, like my lips were peeling, the color was lifting. It's not the most comfortable lip color for me. But this is what I'm not looking for. A more expensive drugstore lipstick that makes my lips feel dry and then makes them look dry and then makes them peel. It does wear better. It transfers minimally. So if you like that and your lips don't tend to be notoriously dry, you might actually like this a lot. So we're starting to move into the category of they're not my faves, they're not my first picks, but I'll wear them. This is from Revlon. This is our super lustrous matte lipstick. This is Encrust Rubies. The price for this is $8.49. Here's what I like about it. As I put it on, it has more of almost like a powdery feel to it. And I don't really feel it on my lips. It doesn't have a heavy feeling like that LA girl did. It feels like I'm really not wearing anything. The one thing I did notice about this, by 3 hours with cups of coffee, with water bottles, with, eating breakfast, this was starting to really wear off in the center. And by 6 hours, it was almost completely gone. I had a really slight line just on the outside of my lips where the inside was pale and this kind of red line on the outside. That's one of my least favorite things a lipstick can do. If you're gonna fade, fade evenly everywhere. It's comfortable on initial application. It does feel a little dry, but it never got to the point where my lips were dry and literally peeling. So I feel like that's why it's in the, I don't hate it. It's actually something I might wear, but there are others that I would choose first. I will say that if you are not eating and drinking, this lasts really well. I'm definitely getting to the point in between where you can see my lips are starting to get stained. That's okay, let's throw the next one on. This is from Revlon. This is their Colorstay Ultimatte Suede Lipstick. This is the shade Finale, and this is $10.99. It's a more expensive Revlon lipstick than the previous one, but what's interesting about this is not intended to be like full on, like boom color. I like that it has kind of a soft suede feel to it. You can build it up, but this is just like one pass on each like upper and lower lip. This is with several more swipes of me putting this on. I feel like this lipstick is one that when you add more layers to it, you change the opacity of it, but you get some really nice longevity with one swipe, and it tends to transfer less. I like that a lot. The other thing that I thought was really great about this was if I only had one swipe of it on, it's not gonna last all day, and it does have very minimal transfer to cups and to silverware, but you could reapply it over itself without it grabbing and bunching, because it is kind of more of like a powdery feel on the lips. Not when you have several swipes, but on that just first one swipe. So if you like a softer, not so bold red, you might actually like this a lot. This Rimmel Lasting Finish lipstick is only $3.99. This is the shade 111. I think these are all by number and they don't have a corresponding name to them, but this was kind of like the most true red that I saw while I was going through the display. So here's what I like about this. It does end up, like the longer I wear it, it does make my lips feel dry and slightly tight, but it never makes my lips peel. It glides on beautifully, and it does have just kind of a little bit of a shine. It looks more demi-matte when you first put it on, but as it continues to dry down throughout like the first maybe half an hour, I find that it has kind of a powdery appearance. It reminds me of the Powder Kiss lipsticks from MAC. That's kind of what this reminds me of. I feel like this one, it did wear off in the middle. It does transfer, but again, it applies really easily over itself. I wore this one under a mask, and if I had just applied the lipstick like within the last 90 minutes and I put a mask on, I tend to get a really blurry lip line, and it was kind of going everywhere, and I felt like I really needed to spend time like doing this when I took my mask off and, you know, fixing my lip line. It did kind of go outside a little bit. Not like in lines trailing and feathering out, but I had more of a blurred lip look going the longer I wore this throughout the day. This is the NYX Suede Matte Lipstick. This is the shade Spicy. This is $8. I thought that this was great because on first application, you're not getting a lot of shine. It does look truly matte. It has kind of that powdery feel to it. It really reminds me in formula and feel on the lips of the MAC Powder Kiss lipsticks. Only I feel like the Powder Kiss lipsticks are comfortable all day, where this one at about the 3-hour mark, it's like, my lips are feeling dry. And then about the 5-hour mark, my lips are feeling tight. But it never got to the point where it was starting to make my skin flake and peel, which I cannot abide. So this was great. One of the downsides for this, being a 46-year-old woman who's losing volume in her lips, I've been trying all of these lipsticks without a lip liner because I want to know what they do on my lips without any help. I don't like this without a lip liner. I love the color. I love the formula. I love the fact that it's matte on first application. It's kind of lightweight and powdery in feel. It's almost as if I'm not wearing lipstick. I don't really feel it on my lips. But I think you can see it right here in my Cupid's bow. There is some lack of firm line definition. I put this on and it starts to kind of get in all the crackles. And the longer I wear it, the more of a blurred lip line it has. And it's not like a really pretty on purpose blurred lip line. It looks like a smudgy, you're wearing a lipstick that's not doing you any favors kind of blurred lip line. So I tried this a couple of times after with a lip liner. Perfection. So for the fact that you can't just throw it on without carefully lining your lips first, that's why this one's lower down. The other thing that I loved about this is that it wore all day. It got a little thin in the middle. Color does transfer off on cups and silverware and things like that. But at the end of 8 hours, I still had a fully red lip. It wasn't this bright, no, but I didn't have any patches where it was bald. So I feel like this is a great lipstick. But me and my older lips that are losing volume look better in this longer if I use a lip liner. This next lipstick is from L'Oreal. This is their Color Riche Matte Lipstick, and this is the shade Madly in Love, and this is $9.99. I was so in love with this color. First of all, the tomatoey redness of it, almost that hot orange. Oh, I love. What was nice about this is that it doesn't pull, it doesn't tug. And out of all the lipstick I've been wearing up to now, this is the first one that when I put it on, I feel like it might actually be giving my lips a little bit of hydration. The longer I wear it, like right now, after swatching 7 other lipsticks, it's the first time my lips don't feel dry and tight. And after, with 8 lipsticks swatching in a row, that's kind of rare. So this is great. It does transfer, like, a lot. I do find that there is a point of where it transfers to cups, to silverware. If you're blotting your lips with a napkin, you are going to get that transfer, but only to a certain point, and then kind of it stops. I like that about it. I feel like it had pretty good longevity. It didn't make my lips feel dry. It didn't make my lips feel uncomfortable or tight. There was no flaking at all. I feel like this is the first of the ones where it was actually comfortable. And it's not the most matte on initial application. It's more of a demi-matte, but the longer you wear it and the more sips you take from your cup of coffee or what have you, the more it starts to get kind of matte, but it feels good. It looks good. It wears good. The other thing I'll tell you, it has a very, very sharp point on it, which gives you a lot of precision. Now that's only gonna last for a while and then it's gonna wear down, but I was impressed by that and I wasn't careful the first time. I'm used to something that's not quite so pointed and I got a little out of control, like whoop, whip the Cupid's bow. I had to wipe it down, reapply foundation and go again. But I do think this is a beautiful lipstick. This is from Flower Beauty. This is their Petal Pout lipstick in their matte formula. They have a matte and a cream. And out of both, I prefer the matte. This one is in Poppy Pout. It's shade 100, and this is $7.99. All right, so this is one I've had in my collection for a long time. I have used this a lot. First of all, the color is beautiful because it is kind of like a hot coral, almost not like a full-on red, but it brings a lot of life and color to my face. I like this. The thing that I like the most about this is out of all of these matte lipsticks, it feels the most cream-like. If you like a cream lipstick but want a longer wearing matte formula or one that's not going to be as shiny, I think you would really like this. I feel like it wears well. It does transfer to coffee cups and things like that, but I feel like I get a good 6 hours of wear out of this before I feel like I need an extra layer. And what I love about this is that it doesn't just like get patchy and bare in one area, it kind of fades all over into a softer, you know, like if I were to blot this down like 5 or 6 times, that's what this looks like after 6 hours. And it never leaves me with that dreaded bare spot in the middle. This is a beautiful lipstick, and for $8 is totally worth your time. This next one is from Milani. This is their Ludicrous Matte Lip Crayon. I have the shade Good Side, and this is $8.99. I love how this applies. It glides. It just easily, like it feels like a cream lipstick in application. It does tend to dry down a little bit. My favorite part of this is that it wears all day. Now it does visibly, you know, transfer to cups, but there's a point where then it kind of stops. So if I'm, you know, drinking mug after mug of tea or going to my water bottle, there is a point where I'm not getting as much transfer. And by lunchtime, if I put it on like in the morning, by lunchtime, I'm not getting any transfer off onto my silverware. By dinner time, I still have color on my lips and I don't have a dreaded bald patch. This doesn't make my lips feel dry, doesn't make them feel uncomfortable. I like this lipstick a lot. And I feel like this kind of a raspberry red shade is really flattering. This is from Milani. This is their Bold Color Statement Matte Lipstick. This is the shade I Am Fierce, and it is $6.99. It's a lot more affordable, you know, in the range of lipsticks. Some of them are, you know, $12 and $13. Some of them are $3, $4. This one's kind of running in the middle of the pack for price. But I'll tell you, this one, like the other one from Milani, I put it on once and it lasted for 8 hours. It does transfer, it does thin out as I'm, you know, drinking cups of coffee, mugs of tea, as I'm drinking from my water bottle. I do get some of it transferred to my fork, but it never left me patchy. And it does kind of sheer out throughout the day. So it won't be this intense at the end of the day, but I don't end up with like a, and here's my natural lip color right in the center, which I really like about it. The other thing is it doesn't really feel dry and uncomfortable. And there are times that like at the end of the day, even though my lips don't feel dry, if I kind of put my lips together and rub them, I can feel that they're dry and a little scratchy or sandy. This doesn't do that at all. I like this lipstick a lot. This next lipstick is from Maybelline. It's their Color Sensational Matte Lipstick. This is the shade Rich Ruby, and this is $8.49. I will tell you, this is the first out of all the lipsticks that I tried on that I wrote down in my notes. I love this formula. Like for me to be like, I like this one, it really says a lot about it. It does have more of that point to it here, so you can get a little bit more precise in your Cupid's bow if you're not using a lip liner. It does also, I feel like goes on matte on application. It doesn't really look shiny. It does transfer, but it held up well after eating and drinking, and I wore this for 8 hours and I never felt like at the end of the day that I was missing color anywhere. I never felt like it was dry or uncomfortable. It felt good all day. The only part that I lament is I didn't think about the fact that my favorite lipsticks are the ones that I'm putting on at the end of this video and my lips are like used and abused and I've already worn 11 other lipsticks. So remember that these last 4 lipsticks are gonna look so good when you put them on first application and your lips aren't like crazy angry after, you know, applying, removing, applying, removing. Love this one a lot. The next lipstick I have is also from Maybelline. This is their Superstay Ink Crayon, and this is the shade Own Your Empire. This one is $9.49. I love that it comes with its own sharpener. You can sharpen this crayon to the sharpest little point you want using this. I haven't done it yet, but let's do it for fun and see how sharp it gets. Oh, that's so much better. That gives me so much satisfaction. I was hoping that all of the crayons would come with their own sharpener, and this is the only one that does. Let me get rid of this. I'm gonna end up with lipstick where I don't need it. This is one that goes on with full pigment when you put it on. I feel like it has a slight shine to it on first application, but it does kind of become more matte over the next like 15-20 minutes. It wears well. It does transfer. You are gonna see it on like, you know, all of your cups and silverware and stuff, but that kind of doesn't bother me. I feel like most bullet lipsticks are going to do that. But what I liked about this, first of all, the color is gorgeous. It lasted so well. And it also, it never got to the point where it felt dry, and it never made my lips dry and peely. Oh my goodness, this is so good. The comfort level, the fact that it sharpens, this is a beautiful lipstick. I will tell you, there was another day where I was so busy I kind of forgot to eat. And I was just, you know, drinking tea and coffee and what have you. And it stayed beautifully all day. It didn't go outside of my lip line. I didn't have any of that fuzzy thing going on. And it wears pretty well underneath the mask. Is it perfect? No. But do I end up with clown lips? Also, no. This is the last Maybelline lipstick. I love that all three of my Maybelline were in like my so good, so good. But this is their Ultimatte Slim Lipstick. And this is one, the formula is a little stiffer. You are gonna get a little bit more tug when you put it on, and usually to me that gives me a warning sign. Oh, it's gonna be dry. Oh, my lips are gonna be mad. My lips are gonna be mad at the end of the day. My lips were not mad wearing this. I never got to the point where I felt like they were dry. There is some transfer to this, but there's the least amount of transfer out of the majority of these lipsticks. I liked that a lot about this. And because it is kind of a thicker formula, it can feel like you're wearing it, not like it's heavy, but compared to some of the other ones, you definitely do feel it a little bit more. But what I liked about this is that sometimes those heavier formulas will, you know, tend to go bald in the middle. They'll tend to, if you're trying to reapply, they'll tend to bunch up and get kind of weird as you've got like little glops and gloops of it. This reapplies beautifully over itself, but I wore this under a mask and I had almost no transfer. With a red lipstick, I'm always expecting to come out looking like clown mouth, like, you know, there's color everywhere. And this wore, I think, the best under a mask out of all the lipsticks that I've tried. And at the end of 8 hours, I didn't feel like I needed to reapply. I never felt like my lips were dry. This is a beautiful lipstick. This last lipstick is from Covergirl. It is their Exhibitionist 24-hour matte lipstick. I have the shade, the real thing. This costs $10.99. So the first thing I'll tell you is it has a much lighter weight feel to it in application, where the previous one, it's a little thicker formula. You can feel it going on. You can feel a little bit of a tug on your lips as you're applying it. This one literally glides. It's like, It has almost like a balm-like feel. And for the first 10 or 12 minutes when you're wearing it, it can have a slight shine to it, but that kind of goes away. And then it ends up being really beautiful and long wearing. This wore for 8 hours without needing to be reapplied, without leaving me a bald patch in the middle, although it does transfer to cups and mugs and silverware. And if you're blotting, you're, you know, at a meal, you're using a napkin, you're gonna get some on there. But I went through 3 meals and multiple beverages throughout the day and a couple of snacks, and this held on all day like a champ. I was super impressed. I know my criteria for lipstick is different because of my age, what I'm looking for in a lipstick, the type of feel I prefer on my lips. But I'll tell you, there were a lot of drugstore lipsticks that really surprised me. And I feel like the first 3 or 4 were the sort of lipsticks that I was expecting all drugstore lipsticks to be like. I tend to have a much more high-end lip collection, and some of these just blew me out of the water. Really, really good. I hope this was helpful. I would love to know what your preferred lipstick formula is. Do you like a matte? Do you like a cream? Do you want a sheer lipstick? Do you like a liquid lipstick? Let me know in the comments down below. And I hope if you're looking for a matte bullet lipstick at the drugstore, that this video was helpful. Thank you so much for watching today. Have an incredible day, and I will see you again soon.